And by the winning head coach, 11-8 the final, Siena over Manhattan. Head coach Liam Gleason. Coach, talk about a roller coaster of a fourth quarter. I mean, 6-6 going in there, got a little dicey. How'd you guys get this one done?
The guys just believed. They believed, they executed on offense, and at the end we got some huge man-down stops. They had some success in the middle of the game on man-up, and we had to get 2 or 3 stops, I think, at the end on man-down, and that just speaks volume to that group. They've done such a great job. And then obviously Chris had, maybe 3-4 saves in the fourth quarter within the last 5 minutes that were, they kept us in the win there. So I'm so proud of these guys to get to this point, and we're looking forward to competing for the championship on Saturday.
I asked you pregame about Chris Yanchoris, maybe playing with a chip on his shoulder today, going up against Joe Persico, first-team All-MAC. Yanchoris gets second team. Certainly looked like he played with a chip today.
Yeah, and again, Chris he wants to be the best version of himself every time he's out there in the field, and he proved why he's one of the best in the conference at the end of the game there with those saves, and so happy that he's playing for us. He's the man.
Coach, you go winless in 2021. It's been a long way to get here, and you guys have been basically playing playoff lacrosse for the last month. What are the emotions that you're one win away from the NCAA tournament?
I'm going to just say, hey, we're 1 win away from a MAC championship, and that's what our first goal is. And, that was a tough season a couple years ago, but the guys have been fighting back ever since, and we keep building, and hopefully this is the year we can get it done.
It'll be Marist Saturday for the MAC championship. Coach, congrats and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Welcome inside the Rose Hill Gym for our Atlantic 10 women's basketball preseason preview. Jackson Heil here with Fordham women's basketball head coach Stephanie Gately. Coach, great to be with you.
Great to see you, Jackson. I love the haircut.
Coach, I mentioned Mom before, but she is here right with us, and you had her on the sidelines today. Even though she isn't able to be here in the stands, how important is it to just have this face covering of her on the sidelines with you?
Well, she's 95. She has 21 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren, and she's just been somebody that's inspired me my whole life. And
speaking of leadership, someone who's going to take even more of an advanced role this year is junior Caitlin Downey. What has it been like watching her grow over these first 2+ years and now taking really that sole responsibility of the top leader on the team?
I think Caitlin just loves the challenge.
You get a big shot late from your superstar, Anna DeWolf. How impressed have you been with the way that she has progressed over this year? Because, listen, she had a really good start. Team's defending her a lot differently now with conference play coming in.
Yeah, I mean, of course, because last year, Bryson, who's 3 when she played for us, was the go-to.
Always, and you coming off quite a road trip this past weekend, yeah. Man. You think you're going to Dayton, you end up busing to St. Louis. What was that 48-hour stretch like for you guys?
It's typical this year has been just, the unexpected, So we had all done our test that morning with Allie, our trainer, and then all of a sudden Allie calls me back into her room and said, we just got a call from Dayton, that they tested positive. So the game is off.
Now let's see if you can put me away. Obviously, in the same spot where you hit maybe the biggest shot of your career. Before you take it,
yes,
take us through that moment.
So I was very nervous. The original play, we were trying to get Bree open on that last shot, and luckily I fell behind. The defense fell asleep a little bit inside the 3-point line. So I'm like, let me step back, let me get some space if the defense is floating in. Got the ball, just prayed a little bit and let it go. It felt good, honestly, going through. So I was really, really happy when it went down in the net.
Well, let's see if you can replicate it here and put me away. Well, I'm looking here. This is a lot deeper than I was expecting, and now I'm in real trouble. So let's see. Flank again.
A lot of college coaches this year have talked about making road games home games by what you can do on the bench. Just from sitting by the bench, your bench has been really active and loud. How do you feel like you can use that as an advantage going on the road against some really good teams like at Dayton and like at UMass?
Again, I think the intangibles are huge in our program.
Fordham will win the Atlantic 10 this year if what?
If we all decide to put our egos aside and put the we before the me, which I have no doubt this team will do.
Once again, Jackson Heil, head coach Stephanie Gately. Coach, great to talk to you, and best of luck this season.
Go Rams.
For Fordham, their road maroon tops, white numbering, lettering, and trim. For Delaware, their home whites. The officials, Jennifer Rezak, Roy Jackson, and Priscilla Herring. Rams will go right to left. Delaware left to right, and we are underway in Charlotte, and it's the Blue Hens controlling possession. To the far corner, it goes for Battle. Attack center lane, looks to find a cutting Dickey, and it's intercepted by Jeremiah. And the Rams get a stop on the opening possession. Delaware trying to force it inside. Underway, round one of the WNIT as Jonathan has the top of the key. Back for Jeremiah, 18 to shoot. Defended closely by Dickey. Looks to spin off a screen. Pressure comes. Loses control at the top of the key. Battle for it on the floor. Jump ball called as Ty Battle went down to tie up Jeremiah. It'll stay with Fordham via the possession arrow. 10 to shoot, 30 seconds gone in this first quarter. Anna DeWolf on the floor for Fordham. Yet to have a touch. She is in a see-through mask. Something she has worn in the past. Last year she was dealing with a nose injury as well, where she wore it for a select few games. And now she will likely be going the rest of the way with that mask herself. Takes the inbound from Jeremiah. Gets a ball screen straight on. To the right wing it goes. Up top, McLaughlin. She'll try a 25-footer. Too strong rebound. Downey in the near corner and skips it to the right wing for DeWolf. Thought about the three. Now drives to the corner. Stops. Floater from 10 feet away. Short. And into the hands of Dickey for Delaware. And she'll slow things down and get into the hands of Paris McBride. Blue Hens in possession. Left wing, it's Dickey. Defended closely by Jeremiah. Drives to the baseline. Now works it up top for Latimer. Back for Dickey on the far wing. Bobbled the pass. Now stops. Pulls up on a three. It's good. From the corner, Jasmine Dickey on the board. And Delaware starts the scoring. 3-0 Blue Hens. A minute 15 gone. In this one, Dickey, not a great three-point shooter. Just under 25% this year. As Downey has it straight on. Swings it far wing for Jeremiah. Thought about the three. Now attacks baseline. Gets underneath the basket. Tries the reverse layup with the left hand. It goes down. Pretty finish by Jeremiah. She's already matched her field goal total from the Atlantic 10 quarterfinal matchup with UMass. And the Rams within 1. 8:20 to go first quarter. Straight on its Battle. Drives right side of the lane. Stops on the block. Defended by Johnson. Tries to go up and under. Floats it up. It's an air ball. And the rebound picked up off the floor by Jeremiah. And she looks to weave her way through traffic. Right to left she comes, skips it across for DeWolf. Now into the corner, McLaughlin. She lines up a triple that grazes the front iron into the hands of Jonathan. And back up top for DeWolf. Quick fire on a three. That's short. And into the hands of Battle at the edge of the restricted area. Blue Hens come left to right. It's Latimer in the right corner. Past the 2-minute mark. Opening quarter, 1-point lead for Delaware. Straight on, it's O'Leary. She'll try an 18-footer. That one nowhere close. And the rebound caroms off the backboard into the hands of Meg Jonathan for Fordham. Jeremiah, the primary ball handler right now for Fordham, comes across timeline, gets past Dickey. Stops in the left wing to the corner for McLaughlin, who works it right back for Jeremiah, and the Rams work it around. DeWolf, right side drive, stops, step back jumper from 18 is short. And off to the left, and skying for the rebound is Dickey. Blue Hens push, left to right, into the corner comes Latimer. She tries the three, that's an air ball. And tracking down the rebound far block for Fordham is Jeremiah. Fast pace to open up this game, 3-2 Delaware as we approach 3 minutes gone in this first quarter, and a steal by Dickey at midcourt. Picks the pocket of Jeremiah and goes and scores on the other end. For Delaware, 5-2 Blue Hens. And they've all come from the CAA Player of the Year, Jasmine Dickey. McLaughlin finds Downey quickly inside for Johnson, stops on the block, goes up with the right hand, and finishes. Great find from Downey to Jonathan, the big-to-big pass. And Fordham back within 1 under 6:40 to play in this first quarter. Jewel Smalls at the scores table for Delaware, set to check in as Dickey drives baseline. Corner jumper off the front iron. And Jonathan has yet another rebound for the Rams. As Jeremiah skips it up ahead for McLaughlin. On the far wing, defended by McBride. Wants a screen. It comes to the left from Jonathan. And an offensive foul is going to be called on Meg Jonathan for a moving screen. Shuffled her feet a bit too quickly. And now the first substitution of the game comes. Jewel Smalls replaces China Latimer. Blue Hens in possession, a 5-4 lead, 6:15 to go first quarter. McBride, 25 feet from the hoop, finds Smalls right wing. Ball at her hip, looks to go baseline, now swings it up top for Battle. Thought about the three, and now gets it to the point guard, McBride. She looks to orchestrate the offense. Horn set, drives left, pulls up on a three, off the heel of the rim, and Jonathan has another rebound for Fordham. She has been crashing the glass early. Fordham in possession, it's DeWolf on the right wing, dishing it for McLaughlin. who now starts her dribble, attacks, finds Jonathan the left elbow. Back out right wing, Downey, 15 to shoot for Fordham as we approach 5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Downey drives center lane, floats it up, an air ball off to the left. And Battle will watch it bounce out of bounds underneath, and it will head back to Delaware. Sloppy start in this WNIT opener from Bojangles Coliseum. A 1-point lead for Delaware as Sarah Carpel heads to the scorer's table for Fordham. Battle right elbow, faces up on Jonathan, looks to spin into the lane, goes up on the right block, it's short, and the rebound batted by Dickey, but she's going to be booked for the personal as she swatted the forearm of Caitlin Downey. And now Carpel will make her way into the game. Katie McLaughlin to the bench for Fordham. Inbounded in the backcourt, 5:15 to go first quarter, 5-4 Delaware as McBride picks up full court on the sophomore Carpel. Carpel bounces for Downey, left wing. Backs up, now he's going to try a three. It's swatted away by Battle and into the hands of Dickey. 2-on-1 the other way for Delaware. Dickey stops at the foul line, pulls up on a jumper, and she connects. Jasmine Dickey off to a red-hot start. All 7 points for Delaware, and they lead by 3 past the halfway mark of this opening quarter. Carpel up top for DeWolf, defended by Dickey. Looks to get it for Jeremiah. She's got the mismatch with McBride, and she calls out an isolation on the near wing with 12 to shoot. Jeremiah looks to back down McBride, curls away into the paint. Out for Downey, it goes right wing. She launches a three. That one's good. A good sign for Fordham. Jeremiah to Downey for 3, and we're tied at 7 with 4.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. O'Leary swings it left wing. Dickey, top of the key, Battle looking on the back cut. Now finds Smalls right wing. Carpel with a hand in her face. Smalls backs up. Hands off for McBride, who now dishes it for Dickey straight on. Over the top pass, Smalls left corner. Quick fire on a 3. All nylon. Jewel Smalls buries a triple from the corner. 10-7 Delaware, under 4 minutes to go in this opening quarter. What's going on in Lewisburg? Chaos in the first half between Fordham and Bucknell, all tied at 10 at the break, and it was not without controversy. It was not without chaos. And I think the one word to describe those opening 30 minutes, ugly for both teams. Jackson Heil inside the Rose Hill Studios, the one-on-one halftime report, and Fordham and Bucknell tied at 10 in the regular season finale. Fordham playing for pride, Bucknell getting tuned up for the Patriot League Championship, and I think they're going to want to change some things in the second half, especially offensively, if they want to make sure they're prepared for Holy Cross in the Patriot League Championship game. But what a weird first half this was between these two Patriot League foes. Fordham has won 7 straight games against Bucknell, but you wouldn't know that by what transpired in the first half. And I think the best way I can describe this was a pendulum swinging, because that really is what this first half was between these two sides. And every time it looked like one team was going to take control, the other would get back into it. And that's exactly what happened right away in this first half. And for Fordham, mistakes a huge factor in the opening half. And it was a chaotic start right from the get-go. And it began on the opening kickoff. Coleman Bennett takes the opening kick 76 yards to get the Bison inside the red zone right away. But the story for the Rams in the first half, if there's a positive light, was the defense, because they were terrific throughout the opening 30 minutes. Bucknell's offense would get the ball down to the Fordham 4-yard line, but Jeremy and Parati forcing the fumble. Somehow Bucknell comes up with it, but that's honestly really not that important here, because it would be a 19-yard loss, and the Rams would force a field goal attempt from Ethan Torres, and he would connect from 39 yards out to give the Bison a 3-0 lead. Quite an opening drive for Bucknell. 5 plays, -5 yards. But because of the special teams blunder from Fordham, still able to come away with points on the opening drive, and they would lead 3-0. And when you think of this matchup, it was Fordham's offense being so high-powered, being so deadly last week against Colgate. Can they crack this stout Bucknell defense, which has been terrific, in their first 2 games. And on the first Rams possession, it looked like that question would be answered. And I think Fordham thought this way too. They looked like they had the formula to beat Bucknell. Tim DeMorat was slinging it. He'd go 8 for 9 on the Rams' opening possession, spreading it out as well. 5 different Rams caught passes on that first drive. And the Rams would have a golden opportunity to score after a pass interference. They'd have the ball on the 2-yard line of the Bison to take the lead. But we talked about the mistakes. And we talked about big ones plaguing Fordham in the first half. This may have been the biggest one from Tim DeMorat.
Sneed in the backfield on the right hip. Coco Sulis in motion. Fakes the give. DeMorat will keep it. He's up the middle. Looking end zone. Reaches with the football. Lost ball. There's a pile at the run. Bucknell claims they have it. And they do. Bucknell recovers the football at the half-yard line. It's not only a goal line stop, but they steal the football at it.
This was critical. Tim DeMorat reaching for the pylon, but unable to keep control of the ball and unable to reach the end zone as well. 12 plays, 67 yards, spanning 4.5 minutes on this drive, but nothing to show for it after the goal line giveaway. And that's one of the big problems when you try to reach for the goal line like that. You expose the ball, and you're willing to take the risk because in most cases you think you can get to the end zone. But in this case, DeMorat doesn't. He loses possession of the football. Bucknell has it, and they get a massive goal line takeaway. But that was really it for the first quarter when it comes to action. The defenses for both sides standing tall. Fordham would turn it over on downs one more time, but Fordham's run game invisible in the opening 15 minutes. They couldn't get anything going offensively in general, but special teams played a factor early. And for Fordham, it was a tale of 2 quarters for them special teams-wise because it actually changed the game in the second quarter in a positive way for them. Just when you thought the Bison would have the opportunity to take control of this game, they got a stop in the opening minute of the second quarter. Nick Leinenweber's punt takes a crazy hop. It hits a Bucknell player. Sean Holland jumps on top of it for Fordham at the Bison 21-yard line. And the Rams somehow are cruising. Yet again, they trail 3-0. They would review this one. It would stay with Fordham. But again, the offense for Fordham, no answer for this Bucknell front seven. That was terrific in the first quarter. They would go 3 and out, losing a couple yards in the process as well. But the special teams, how about Nick Leinenweber nailing one from 41 yards out, a career best for him to tie the game at 3. And this was a big confidence boost for Joe Conlon's team because you look at the point in the game right now. If they're unable to get points here after forcing a turnover special teams wise, this team might have been dead in the water. But Leinenweber squares the game at 3. And this is where the Rams offense would get a charge. They would get a stop immediately, and they would have the ball on their own 13-yard line. And this was by far the best drive of the half of the Fordham offense. Trey Sneed getting involved on the ground. He would break off a 17-yard run on this drive. Fotis Kokosoulis coming up with a big play as well. 38-yard grab to get the Rams in the red zone. And they would go 87 yards on 10 plays, over 5 minutes on this drive, slowly, methodically breaking down the Bucknell defense. And it was MJ Wright capping it off with a big one.
First down and goal from the 3. DeMorat takes the snap, rolls right, looking Sneed. Sneed got it. MJ Wright got it. Touchdown. Rams into the end zone. DeMorat rolling right, could have held it, had an open man, found him. MJ Wright for his second touchdown on the season.
A 10-3 lead for Fordham following the point after, and it looked like the Rams were going to add to that, too, in the final minute of the half. They would get the ball inside Bucknell territory. DeMorat hooking up with DeKeith Carter for 21 yards, and they would have an opportunity to add to this lead with 45 seconds to go. But the mistakes again. Just when you thought the Rams were going to be able to build on this and go into halftime with perhaps a 2-possession lead if they're able to get a field goal, maybe even a touchdown in this drive, Tim DeMorat makes another costly mistake.
DeMorat of the gun with 4 receivers on the set. Takes the snap. Steps back, throws, it's intercepted! Picked off at the 45 by by Mottram, who will take it all the way down to the Fordham 30 and inside the 25 to the 22.
That's a killer. And you can't have that happen. Demorat getting picked off by Mottram with under a minute to go in the half. And like just when you think it couldn't get worse from that situation, not only do you give the ball away when you have a chance to potentially score, but at the same time, you give Bucknell great field position at the Fordham 23, and they wasted no time making the Rams pay. It was Coleman Bennett on the first carry and the first play of the drive, able to punch it in for the Bison.
Offense. First one goes to Coleman. It's the give. He bounces off the left tackle, breaks forward between the hashes, and stumbles into the end zone. A Bucknell touchdown. 23 yards on the ground from Coleman Bennett.
And just like that, we're tied at 10. Crazy how things transpired. It was ugly. And Fordham would go into the half all tied at 10 with Bucknell in Lewisburg.